Overwatch has had a difficult few weeks recently after the devs announced that many planned and promised features were being cut completely, leaving many feeling manipulated and lied to, resulting in players deciding to stop playing the game entirely in protest. But is all this outrage and complaining legitimate, or are people just feeling entitled? In this video, I wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on the situation from the perspective of someone who never played the original game and plays Overwatch 2 casually. I'll do my best to cover everything, but I'll warn you, I wanted this to be a natural opinion, and thus I haven't done any additional research into the topic beforehand, so bear in mind that some things may not be 100% accurate, but if you want to chat about it some more, feel free to pop into my Twitch streams and we can go into more detail. Now, let's begin with some quick context for those who haven't been following the news. The original Overwatch game stopped receiving updates a few years ago, which had many players upset that they were no longer getting new content to their favorite game. But with promises from the devs that they were working on a fully fledged PVE mode, including hero skill trees, alternative abilities, highly replayable story missions, and more that were taking most of their developer resources up, people took this as a good enough excuse at the time, but were impatient to see the results. Skip ahead a couple of years, and the devs announced that they would in fact be releasing all of the previously teased content in their new, free-to-play version of the game, Overwatch 2, and that this would replace the original title completely. Again, there was much disappointment, but the promises of a better game had players staying anyway. The launch of the sequel came in October 2022, and was a bit of a slap in the face to the original Overwatch community, as while the game came with many improvements, some new heroes and modes, it also took a major step back in other aspects, with competitive modes, matchmaking, and the extreme monetization of heroes and old cosmetics being the most complained about. And even after the game's launch, there was still no PvE in sight. But no worries, as once again the devs explained that it needed more time to finish and would arrive in the game during the following year. People were yet again upset and disappointed at the lack of new content, claiming that the sequel provided nothing more than monetization options compared to the original, but again waited for the hyped up content to come. Fast forward a few seasons and we recently had a dev stream announcing many of the upcoming things to look forward to in seasons 5 and 6. But it was at this point where they announced that much of the originally promised PvE content would not in fact be coming to the game, and the standalone PvE mode would be too much work to release on top of a live service PvP game they were already running, causing an outrage across the community, as this is what everyone had been holding onto for years each time something went wrong or got delayed, with even people who don't play the game at all getting involved in the recent drama. Now, if you've been following the news around Overwatch, then you're probably aware of the situation, so here's my take on these events as someone who never saw the original promises. I think we can all agree this announcement sucks. The tease content from years ago looks amazing, and I was really looking forward to discovering something new and highly replayable at the same time as the rest of the community, as I've always felt like I turned up 6 years late to the show, even more so as a content creator, as many of the things I'd love to do have been done thousands of times before me, and people have had enough of the same old content. But I'm far from wanting to quit the game like many others are. New players like myself have spent the last 8 months in the honeymoon phase, discovering everything from basic game mechanics to hero abilities, and heck, even getting into the competitive grind and lore. So we have been somewhat blind to the major lack in promised content, and don't have the previous title to compare it to, so we are naturally much less disappointed with our experience. The reason why I think this announcement has hit the veteran Overwatch players much harder than myself is because Overwatch 2 hasn't realistically brought anything new to the table. Other than 5v5 and some new heroes, considering there are not many people who enjoy the new push mode, and we're still waiting to see PvE content. These players have been basically playing the same game as they had paid for years ago, only to see the odd PvE mission like Star Watch, which was fun for the first few runs, increasing price tags to everything they had previously released, major bugs with each update, and a lack in many features that were appreciated in the original game. So it's understandable that they have had enough of it all and want to move on to something else. Even Twitch viewer numbers have been on the decline recently, which is probably because the game is so similar to the original that people have seen it all before. and outside a handful of creative streamers who generally attract large amounts of viewers themselves, the rest of the community just feels worn out, as if you can feel the depression of being lied to for years on end coming through in video form, which is not a great feeling as a viewer. Not to mention that there's a lot going on at once in Overwatch, meaning new viewers are quickly lost, and chat engagement becomes difficult when teamfights go on for a while. And when you start adding in ult charge tracking and learning the game yourself, it can quickly become more fun to just play yourself rather than watch someone else do the same thing, which is likely why the unranked to GM content is so popular, as it's something that is out of reach for many people, and you get a short burst of concentrated content on one hero, making it easier to digest for new players. So I guess spending years enduring bugs, bad decisions, and a lack of content under the promise of a giant PVE mode, only to have that rug pulled from under your feet, must be devastating, and I really do understand the somewhat extreme reaction from many players who have decided that this is the last straw. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm having a blast playing Overwatch 2 myself, and even though I'm leaving my discovery process and starting to get into the grind, I still think the game is amazing when played casually, and I can see myself coming back regularly to play through the Battle Pass and push myself in competitive. As for the future of the game and the potential PvE content to come, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but all the negativity around any Overwatch post I see is like having a constant reminder to not get too excited for anything the game may be promising, as you will likely not only be let down, but lied to in the process. And quite honestly, it's a scary time to start creating content for the game, knowing that a large portion of the player base is giving up and moving on to other games instead, and a handful of large creators already dominate the space. So I'll leave you with this question. Do you think there's anything left worth getting excited about in Overwatch's future? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, or tune into my Twitch streams where I'll be doing my best to enjoy the content Overwatch has given us.